Hey folks, one thing that kind of comes up a lot is, is this safe for goats to eat? Is that safe for goats to eat? Yada, yada, yada. Goats are generally pretty good at detoxing. They're pretty resilient against poisonous plants and toxic plants. There's definitely exceptions to that. But a good story I like to tell is, we got poison hemlock around here, and it's in the pasture sometimes, although it's not there much anymore because the goats eat it really, really well. And I have had neighbors that I don't even know stop on the road, walk up to the house and knock on the door to tell me, hey, those goats are out there eating poison hemlock. And that's fine. Poison hemlock, my understanding is will kill other livestock. Goats, they don't care. Now, does that mean that if you had 10 acres of nothing but poison hemlock and you put your goats out there for a month straight, that they'd be all right? I wouldn't bet on that because there is a dosage level concern. But generally speaking, there's not too many plants out here, at least in this part of the country, that can kill goats that are, I would say, naturally occurring plants. There are things that are like decorative species, like Japanese yew is pretty poisonous and will kill goats. But under certain circumstances, plants that are otherwise benign or otherwise just fine can become very poisonous. It can kill a large number of animals very quickly. This is a good example right here, pigweed. Pigweed can build up nitrates under certain conditions and give them nitrate poisoning. And I do know people that have lost tens of thousands of dollars of animals that are very short, within a few hours due to nitrate poisoning. I believe lamb's quarter can also do it under certain circumstances. Sudangrass, I think, under certain circumstances. Pigweed's kind of the one that's known for it. You can kind of tell if it's building up nitrates because it'll start turning pink and red on the stem, not just in the root, not just below ground. Though that red color is the nitrates. There are other poisonings that are like that, where otherwise plants that wouldn't harm them can become a problem. Prussic acid poisoning is another one. This is certain species of plants like reed canary grass or sudex get a frost while they're in a vegetative state, and they'll form prussic acid, and again, you can kill a large number of animals with that. There are oxalate poisoning, curly dock, and some other species of forbs, and probably maybe grasses too. I'm not sure. Can block uptake of, I believe it's calcium, but it exhibits like hypocalcemia. If you've ever seen that, and you can treat it the same way, you can't actually do something about that one, and that doesn't kill them so fast. Like nitrates will kill very quickly. Oxalate poisoning can take long enough that you might actually have a chance to do something about it, and there is something that you can do about it. All of these things you should read up more if you're interested in learning more on. I'm not trying to give a complete class here. I'm just kind of emphasizing that poisoning is not a matter of just like, oh, they touch it and they die. There's a dosage level to consider. And also there are plants that under certain conditions can become very poisonous that are otherwise benign the rest of the time. So oxalate poisoning, and there was a third one I was wanting to talk about. Alkaloid poisoning, actually. This is a relatively new one to me. I didn't know that this was a thing. But there are certain plants, and I know the one, and I'm bringing this up because I actually lost a doe. In retrospect, I am becoming more and more convinced that I think it was alkaloid poisoning on a high alkaloid variety of reed canary grass. The animal gets the staggers, they get too much alkaloid, they get the staggers, and they just kind of die, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it. This doe passed really pretty quickly. From when I saw her being symptomatic, she was fine the day before. The next day she was staggering, and within a couple hours of me seeing her symptomatic, she was dead. And they were on a pasture that was pretty heavy in reed canary grass. In reed canary grass, that was very low palatability as well. So, kind of lesson learned there. But, under other circumstances, we have reed canary grass here in the pasture otherwise, but it's not the high alkaloid variety. It's not, that time of year, that period in the growth pattern. It's not that soil type, whatever it was that caused that particular bit of reed canary grass to be high alkaloid, doesn't exist most of the time. And that concentration either, that area was almost exclusively reed canary grass. There's very little else to eat there. So you want to think about those things. I do want to say you need to do your own research in your own area. These things that I brought up, though, to my knowledge, are pretty universal. They happen everywhere, regardless of what your environmental conditions are like. Nitrate, oxalate, prussic acid, and alkaloid poisoning are all things to be aware of, at the very least, because they can cost you a lot of money very, very quickly.